Sean Diddy Combs.
Sean Diddy Combs.
Sean Combs.
Rapper Sean Diddy Combs.
For Diddy, you could honestly say his time as a free man is starting to run out at an alarming rate. There's been so much drama surrounding his name lately, and every single accusation points to him spending his future locked up behind bars. There have been some recent developments in Biggie's murder case, and apparently there are signs that show Diddy's hands were involved in the incident that took Biggie's life. Keep watching till the end of this video to see just in, Diddy arrested in Biggie's murder case. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
Before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to the #1 celebrity jeweler, the Ice Champ. The Ice Champ is doing a special deal for the next 24 hours on diamond watches, chains, and more. Follow at The Ice Champ on Instagram now.
Biggie's final days. By early 1997, Biggie Smalls was seeking to squash the East Coast-West Coast rap feud that many felt had fueled the September 1996 murder of his friend-turned-rival Tupac Shakur. Biggie Smalls was determined to see his dream through as he finished up his sophomore album for Diddy's Bad Boy Entertainment, Life After Death. He traveled to LA to shoot the video for its lead single, Hypnotize, in February 1997, and stuck around for the Soul Train Music Awards, sitting for interviews where he expressed sadness at Shakur's death. Despite his efforts at peacemaking, the LA music crowd gave the Bad Boy contingent a cool reception when they appeared on stage at the March 7th awards show, with Biggie Smalls getting booed when he stepped forward to announce Toni Braxton as the winner of Best R&B Soul Single. With a planned trip to Europe canceled, Biggie found himself with little to do at the Westwood Marquis Hotel on March 8th. According to Vibe, he spent much of the day with his agent Phil Casey discussing plans for an upcoming tour. Itching to get out, Biggie convinced his boys to head to an industry party at the Peterson Automotive Museum at the Miracle Mile District, co-sponsored by Quincy Jones's Vibe magazine. As Diddy later recounted, attending a Jones party on the outskirts of Beverly Hills seemed like a safe enough move, and for a while it was. Although several known gang members had managed to infiltrate the guest list, the overall mood was said to be happy. However, the venue soon became a little too cramped, and at around 12:30 a.m., the fire department shut down the festivities. Biggie Smalls and Diddy trickled out with the rest of the partygoers, pausing to pose for pictures before cranking up a car stereo to blast some tracks from Life After Death. Deciding to head back to their hotel, Diddy jumped into the first of 3 cars with several bodyguards. Biggie settled into the front passenger seat of the second, a green GMC Suburban next to his driver, Gregory G. Money Young, with 2 more friends in the back. Combs' lead SUV promptly blew through a yellow light, leaving Biggie Smalls' group idling at Wilshire Boulevard and Fairfax Avenue. Suddenly, a white Toyota Land Cruiser made a U-turn and tried to squeeze into the space behind the green Suburban. At that moment, a dark Chevy Impala pulled up next to Biggie Smalls. The driver, an African-American man in a blue suit and a bow tie, made eye contact with Biggie Smalls before reaching over and emptying his clip into the car. Amid the commotion, the shots were fired mere yards from the crowd outside the museum. The shooter sped off on Wilshire. Meanwhile, Diddy abandoned his SUV and raced across the street to the green Suburban, where he found his friend hunched over, his tongue out and bleeding on the dashboard. The driver floored it to the nearby Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where 6 people managed to lift Biggie Smalls onto a gurney and send him in for emergency surgery. But despite the quick medical attention, the 4 bullets had already done their fatal damage, and Biggie Smalls was pronounced dead at 1:15 a.m. Diddy got Biggie killed. According to now-retired FBI agent Phil Carson, the timing of the Biggie Smalls killing was far from incidental. He not only claimed it was a paid hit ordered by infamous Death Row Records mogul Suge Knight, but also a massive police cover-up across the board. Biggie's murder was the biggest miscarriage of justice in my 20-year career at the FBI, Phil Carson told the New York Post in an article published back in 2021. I had evidence that LAPD officers were involved, and I was shut down by the LAPD and city attorneys inside Los Angeles. 1990s hip-hop fans undoubtedly heard the names David Mack and Amir Mohammed centered around Biggie Smalls' murder investigation, and a 2003 FBI report obtained by the Post outlines their direct involvement. Amir Muhammad, aka Harry Billups, the godparent to LAPD officer David Mack's 2 children, has been identified by several sources as the triggerman, Carson wrote at the time, demanding LAPD step up and take a closer examination. Mack is a registered owner of a 1995 black SS Impala with chrome wheels, the exact description given as being driven by Wallace's shooter. Mack was eventually cleared in Biggie's case, but the rampant corruption probe of the late 90s discovered him to be a dirty cop, leading to his arrest in December 1997 for robbing a Los Angeles bank of nearly $1 million. He was sentenced to 14 years in prison and released in 2010. Even more remarkably, the written testimony claims Diddy, not Biggie Smalls, was the intended hit. During the wee hours of March 9, 1997 in Los Angeles, the Bad Boys partying at Peterson Automotive Museum were celebrating the pending release of B.I.G.'s final album, Life After Death. Following Biggie Smalls' murder, the LAPD had been so rattled with racial corruption in the aftermath of Rodney King's not guilty verdict that they were looking to avoid all sorts of friction and negative press. Carson says the U.S. Attorney's Office swept things involving the case under the rug as a result. Deceased LAPD Detective Russell Poole dedicated the latter half of his life to attempting to expose all the corruption in the department. Following his retirement in 1999, he turned to private detective work and began writing the book Chaos Merchants: Murders of Tupac Shakur and Notorious B.I.G. before dying in 2015 from a brain aneurysm. With justice on Carson's mind, he gave the proverbial thumbs up to the much maligned Johnny Depp film City of Lies. City of Lies producer John Sikorsky said he and director Brad Furman used the sealed FBI documents to construct the film, which stars Johnny Depp as Poole and Academy Award winner Forrest Whitaker as journalist Jack Johnson. Diddy's bodyguard says Diddy was behind the incident. Diddy's former bodyguard sheds new light on Biggie Smalls' death, claiming his March 1997 murder wasn't a drive-by shooting. Gene Deal, who was part of Diddy's security detail in the 90s, opened up about the night Biggie was killed in an interview with The Art of the Dialogue, and expressed his frustration at how the events leading to Biggie's death are portrayed in movies and documentaries. Contrary to popular opinion, Deal insists that the Brooklyn rapper's ultimate demise technically wasn't the result of a drive-by, as he believes the killer, who has yet to be identified by police, was already lurking in wait before pulling the trigger. It just hurts because they lie too much. A lot of that be lies the way they put it together, cause they listening to these white boys who wasn't even there, he vented. Wasn't no drive-by. The car was standing there at the corner. Every Biggie movie that you see, they say it's a drive-by. When the witness tells you the car was stood right there at the corner, the car was probably there all night.